I shall now make a statement in my capacity as Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Excellencies, let me start by thanking the briefers, Ms. Elizabeth Spear, Assistant Secretary General for Peacebuilding Support, Department of Political and Peacebuilding Affairs, His Excellency Mr. Bankole Adeoye, African Union Commissioner for Political Affairs, Security, Peace and Security, Ms. Awaz Samai, Executive Secretary, Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion, and Mr. Anu Descades, Executive Director, Volontariat pour le Développement de Haiti, for their insightful briefings. I also thank the Peacebuilding Commission for the advisory note. As I focus my statement today on the key issues of conflict prevention, peacebuilding, and sustaining peace, it remains fundamentally important to start by highlighting how inequality within and among states remains a major hindrance to peacebuilding effort and sustainable global, regional, and national conflict prevention. The United Nations Secretary General rightfully mentioned in his policy brief on the agenda for peace that I quote, "Inequalities and injustices within and among nations are giving rise to new grievances. They have sown distrust in the potential of multilateral solutions to improve lives and have amplified calls for new forms of isolationism," unquote. These words have never been truer. At the global level, we are witnessing an alarming rise in conflict and instability, fueled by a complex interplay of geopolitical tensions, economic disparities, climate change, and the proliferation of weapons. Our world remains on fire from both national and international conflict. From civil conflict in Africa to conflict in the Middle East and Eastern Europe, we are faced today with complex situations that are more and more difficult for any individual state to resolve by themselves. The complex and multifaceted nature of the 21st century challenges and conflict warrant deliberate and multi-pronged solutions. A new agenda for peace calls for renewed multilateralism and a recommitment to the principles of the United Nations Charter. We must ensure that global institutions are adequately equipped to address these challenges with a focus on preventive diplomacy, robust peacekeeping, and sustained peace-building efforts. The twin sustaining peace resolutions adopted in 2016 in both the United Nations General Assembly and the Security Council, Resolution 70262 and Resolution 2282, offered an opportunity for the United Nations system to rethink on how to prevent and address violent conflict in a more holistic and inclusive way. Focused on addressing the root causes and using a three-pillar approach, that is, peace and security, development, and human rights. The UN thus has the opportunity to modernize its prevention toolkit through initiatives like the Secretary General's new agenda for peace, the upcoming Pact of the Future, as well as the forthcoming peace-building architecture review. Excellencies, since the end of the major world wars, multilateralism has provided an effective means for addressing global, regional, and national conflict. Yet, today, we stand at a juncture that could either usher in a strengthened and revitalized resolve to build on those gains of multilateralism or move towards an untenable point of no return in which isolationist policies drive deeper wedges among states and peoples and hinder our ability to protect ourselves and each other from irreversible destruction. We must not be the generation in whose hands history will lay blame for a destroyed planet. We owe it to our children and their children to leave behind a legacy of growth and of hope in themselves and in each other. Therefore, it behooves our generation to find remedies to the challenges that affect mankind, to bring an end to the suffering that plagues billions of humans, to end poverty diseases, and indeed war. As Nelson Mandela aptly put it, while, I quote, "we were expected to destroy one another collectively, we as a people must choose the path of negotiation, compromise, and peaceful settlement," end of quote. In this respect, the Secretary General's new agenda for peace provides blueprint for our generation to leave a successful legacy. The guiding principles of trust, solidarity, and universality must continue to guide us during these fragile times. Respect for human rights and international law, the sovereignty and territorial integrity of states, and the pacific settlement of disputes must remain paramount. Diplomacy must be the balm with which we mend all disputes, with prevention as the key watchword. We must promote national ownership of all strategies and actions, which should be people-centered, prioritizing the voices of the young and women. Furthermore, it is paramount that we focus on uplifting the economies of the least developed countries by providing adequate and new opportunities for growth, fair lending schemes, as well as international trading opportunities that are more sustainable and better adapted to today's global market. Excellencies, turning to the national level, and as we have heard from Ms. Hawa Samai, allow me to draw attention to the case of Sierra Leone, a country that offers valuable lessons in conflict prevention and peace building. Sierra Leone's decade-long civil war, which ended in 2002, was marked by extreme violence, human rights abuses, and the